In this video, we are going to look at Biology Paper 2, which was written on 10th August 2023. This was for GCE candidates. To benefit fully from this video, make sure you drop your answers in the comment section as we move through this paper. We'll look at both section A and section B. So let's get started. Section A, short answer questions, 44 marks. Answer all the questions in the space provided in the question paper. Question 1. Figure 1 shows different types of specialized cells. A1. Identify cells A, B, and C. So let's identify cell A. So what is cell A? Drop your answer in the comment section. So here, the correct answer is a motor neuron. So for nerve cell, it's not going to score because nerve cells, we have three types. So we have the sensory neuron, relay neuron, and motor neuron. So here you have to specify to say it's the motor neuron. All right, guys, we move to cell B now. What is cell B? Cell B is the root hair cell. So here you have to specify to say root hair cell, don't just write root hair. So here you have to be precise to say cell B is the root hair cell. Very good, guys. We move on to the next cell. Let's identify now cell C. So for cell C, the answer is the ciliated cells. So if you only wrote the ciliated cell, you are not going to score because here we have three cells which have been given. So you have to give your answer in plural to say there are three cells. So here we say these are ciliated what? Cells. Excellent. So these were the answers to part A. We move on to the next part. Part 2. State the part of the living organism in which the specialized cells B and C are normally found. So where in the living organism do we find part B? You can leave your answer in the comment section. So where do we find part B? The answer here is the root. So the part of the living organism in which we find the B is the root. So if you say root tip, that is not going to score because at the root tip we have the root cap. So here the correct answer is the root. Okay. How about cells C, which we identified as ciliated cells? Where do we find these cells? So we have two possible areas where we are going to find these cells. We are going to find them in the trachea as well as the oviduct. So one answer here will suffice. So here we're simply going to say the trachea. So that is where we find these cells. Very good, chat. All right. So we go to the next question. So we go to part B. So part B says explain the function of each of the cells in figure 1. So we have A. So what is the function of the motor neuron? Right. Excellent work. So the function of the motor neuron is simply to conduct electric impulse from the central nervous system to the effector. So that is where the signal will be taken to. So it conducts electric impulses from the central nervous system to the effector. Well done, chat. Alright, we go on to part B. What is the function of the root hair cell? So the function of the root hair cell is to absorb water and mineral salts from the soil. So that is the function of the root hair cell. It absorbs the water and mineral salts from the soil. Okay, so here don't say to transport, its function is in absorption. Alright, the last cell now. What is the function of C, which are the ciliated cells? The function of the ciliated cells is the cilia present will actually help to sweep mucus out of the trachea. So if our answer was oviduct, we'll say the function of the cilia present is to help move the ovum from the oviduct to the uterus. So that is the function of the ciliated cell. So this marks the end of question number 1. So how did you find this question? Was it very tough? Let me know in the comment section. Very good. We move on to question number 2. So question number 2 says, figure 2 represents a rhizopus growing in bread. Part A, identify the parts labeled E, F, and G. So we'll start with part E. So let's identify what is part E. Leave your answer in the comment section. So part E is the sporangiophore. So we call the part A the sporangiophore. So the sporangiophore's function is to hold up the sporangium. So that is the part E. Alright. Okay, we move on to the next question. Let's identify part F now. Leave your answer in the comment section. What is part F? Part F is the rhizoid. So here, if you have written rhizoid, your answer is not scored because here the figure is pointing at 2 structures. So the correct answer here is the rhizoid. Okay. Let's now identify part G. Drop your answer in the comment section. Part G, the answer is spores. So here, if you have typed spore, again, you're not going to score. I can see that at least for some, we've now adapted to the way we're answering it. So here we can see G is pointing at 2. So here the answer is spores and not spore. Excellent work, chat. All right, we move on to the next part. Okay, part B1 says state the type of nutrition found in organism in figure 2. So question says state the type of nutrition found in the organism in figure 2. You can leave your answer in the comment section. Here, the type of nutrition is what is known as the saprophytic nutrition. Very good, chat. So here, rhizopus carries out the saprophytic part nutrition. Very good. All right. So next question, we go to part 2. So 2 says, explain how nutrition identified in B1 is brought about. So identify how the nutrition identified in B1 is brought about. You can leave your answer in the comment section. So here, due to your typing speed, just give me the steps which are going to be involved for the process to occur for digestion. So how the nutrition will take place in the rhizopath. All right. Well done, chat. So the saprophytic nutrition basically has got 3 steps. So the first step is the releasing of extracellular digestive enzymes by the rhizoids, which is part F. And once the enzymes are now inside the bread, they will carry out the digestion of the food. And once the digestion of the food is complete, then the absorption of the food will be taking place by diffusion and active water transport. So those were the 3 steps you needed to highlight. So let's write down now that explanation in a paragraph, since the question is asking us to explain. So we're saying here, rhizoids will secrete extracellular digestive enzymes into the substrate to digest the food. The digested food is then absorbed by diffusion and active transport. So that is how you present here your answer. So don't forget, digestion in the rhizopath will normally involve 3 steps. First, extracellular enzymes are secreted into the substrate. Then the enzymes will digest the food. Then the digested food is absorbed by diffusion and active transport. Excellent. All right, we move on to the next part. So the next part is part C, which says describe the importance of the nutrition in the rhizopath to the environment. So it says describe the importance of the nutrition in the rhizopath to the environment. You can leave your answers in the comment section. Well done, chat. So here we have to limit our answers only to the environment. So here we will talk about to say it recycles nutrients such as carbon and nitrogen, making the soil fertile, and decomposes dead organic matter, preventing accumulation of dead bodies in the environment. So that is how saprophytic nutrition benefits the environment. So here answers like baking will not score because it's only benefiting humans. Brewing is also beneficial to humans. It's also medicine, like for example penicillin, that is mostly being used as medicine for human beings. Then also sewage treatment. So that's why here we only limit it to the environment time. So that's why we're talking about recycling of nutrients, making the soil fertile, and also decomposition of dead organic matter. So this brings us to the end of question number 2. So how did you find this question? Let me know in the comment section. All right, well done. We go to question number 3. So question 3 says, figure 3 shows part of the respiratory organs of a bony fish. A1 identifies structures labeled Z. So you can leave your answer in the comment section below. So let's identify structure Z labeled Z. All right, well done, chat. the answer here is gill filaments. So if you've written gill filament is not scoring, because here the question is saying identify structures. So you have to give your answer in full, because here we have gill what? Filaments. Okay, excellent work. All right, we move on to the next question. So part 2 says explain how structures labeled Z are suitable for their function. Explain how structures labeled Z are suitable for their function. You can leave your answer in the comment section. Well done, chat. So here we have about 3 possible answers we can give here. So one, we can say they are numerous. So we can see that the gill filaments are many. This is to increase the surface area for diffusion of gases. Then another adaptation is that the gill filaments are very thin. They have thin epithelium to reduce the distance for diffusion. And another adaptation is that they contain blood capillaries for rapid diffusion of gases. So that also helps in ventilation. So here we can write any of the 3 answers. So here our answer we are going to present is 1. They have a thin epithelium to reduce diffusion distance. Okay, so don't forget, even writing numerous to increase the surface area will also score. Then we're also saying they will contain blood capillaries for rapid diffusion of gases, so that also scores. All right, excellent work, chat. We move on. So next part, we have part number 3. So part 3 says name 2 other respiratory organs in fish other than one shown in figure 3. So name 2 other respiratory organs in fish other than the one shown in figure 3. Drop your answers in the comment section. Well done, chat. So the first part which we can name here is the mouth. It's also part of the respiratory system in fish. Then the second part which we have is the operculum or gill covers. So these are the 2 other organs. So that is these are the solutions to question part 3. All right, well done, chat. Okay, so next we go to part B. Describe the role played describe the role played by each of the respiratory organs identified in A2. So our first part we identified as the mouth. So what is the role of the mouth in respiration in the fish? You can drop your answer in the comment section. Well done, chat. So here we are saying the mouth will actually open and close to allow water to enter. The flow of the mouth is lowered or raised to reduce and increase pressure. So that is how the mouth plays in breathing in the fish. So it will be opening and closing to allow water to enter into the mouth. Then the flow of the mouth is able to lower so that it reduces pressure so that water goes in. Then it will also raise up, then to increase pressure so that water can flow over the gills. So that is how the mouth helps in breathing. Okay. Next, we look at part 2, which was the gill chamber or operculum. So what is the role of the operculum during breathing in fish? Drop your answer in the comment section. Well done, chat. So the solution here, the answer is the operculum will also open and close to allow water to stay or leave the operculum cavity, or simply the gill chamber. So that is the role of the operculum during breathing in a fish. Okay, so these were the solutions to our question here. Then we now move on to the next part. So the next part is part C, which says which respiratory organ in humans plays the same role as the structure Z in a bony fish? So which respiratory organ in humans who plays the same role as structure Z in a bony fish? You can leave your answer in the comment section. Alright, well done, chat. So here the part Z, its role is to carry out the diffusion of gases. So this is where gaseous exchange takes place, isn't it? So in human beings, where gaseous exchange takes place will occur in the alveoli. So here, since the question was asking us to say organ and not organs, we are going to write alveolus. So alveoli is for plural, so if you've written alveoli, it won't score. Or if you've written lung, that is still acceptable, you can still get a mark for there. But if you've written lungs, that won't score, because lungs you've written plural, because the question is saying the respiratory organ in human beings. So don't forget that. Alright, so we are at the end of question number 3. So if you let me know if you enjoyed this question as well. And if you are enjoying the video so far, don't forget to give the video a like so that I know that you enjoyed the video up to this point. Alright, excellent. We go on to question number 4 now. So question number 4 says, question 4, figure 4 shows the relationship between blood, tissue fluid, cells, and the lymph. Okay, so part A says identify structures U and T. Alright, chat, let me know what is structure U. You can leave your answer in the comment section. What is structure U? Well done, chat. So structure U is the lymphatic vessel. So here don't write again lymphatic vessels because you only shown one eye. So the answer here is lymphatic vessel. Well done. Okay, so next now is T. Let's identify structure T. You can leave your answer in the comment section. Well done, chat. Structure U, structure T is what referred to as the venue. So structure T there is the venue. So blood will enter the capillary bed through ara, which is known as the arteriole. Then the arteriole branches into the capillaries. Then the capillaries branch into venues. Then venues will go into veins. So from artery to arteriole, then capillary, then to venue, venue to veins. So that is the structures of the blood circulatory system. Alright, so that was the part A. Let's move on to the next part. Alright, so part B1 says name one nutrient represented by S. So name one nutrient represented by S. Alright, leave your answer in the comment section. Very good, chat. So here there are two possible answers you can give. You can go for glucose or amino acids. So here I'll simply write glucose. So here, proteins are not going to score because the proteins are too large. They can't pass through the walls of the capillaries. So at least glucose has been digested as well as amino acids have been digested. So those can be transported to the tissue so that they can now be assimilated. So here it can either be glucose or we have amino acids. Very good. So oxygen won't score because oxygen is a gas. So here the nutrients, remember there are 7 nutrients. We have the carbohydrates, we have the proteins, lipids, vitamins, mineral salts, roughage, water. So here the nutrient S is either glucose or amino acid. All right, well done, chat. Now, if you have got any questions, always feel free to leave it in the comment section. Okay, we move on to part 2. So part 2 says compare the blood pressure at R to that at T and give a reason for your answer. So here we'll start with the comparison first. So first we write for comparison, then next we write for the differences. So let's compare the blood pressure between R and T. Then next part will give you a reason why the blood pressure at R and T have to be compared. All right, you can drop your answer in the comment section. All right, well done, chat. So here the comparison between blood pressure. So here we're only going to compare blood pressure and not the level of oxygen in the blood. So we are saying that at R, blood pressure at R is higher, while blood pressure at T is lower. So that's the difference. So in the arterioles, blood pressure is higher, while in the venues, blood pressure is lower. Excellent work, chat. All right. We now give a reason for our answer why blood pressure is higher at R while at T it's lower. Let's drop our answer in the comment section. Well done, chat. So here the reason why we have a difference in blood pressure in the arterioles and venues is because in the arterioles R has got a narrow lumen while T has a wider lumen. So this then creates high pressure in the capillaries, which allows the nutrients to filter out as the tissue fluid. So that is our reason why we have difference in pressure. So at R it's higher, while at T it's low. Excellent work, chat. So that is the solution to our answer. All right, we move on to the next question. So next question is part C. So part C says explain the role of structure U in relation to blood circulatory system. C is saying explain the role of structure U in relation to blood circulatory system. Yes, chat, we can leave our answer in the comment section below. Well done, chat, very good. So here the question was simply trying to ask us what is the role of the lymphatic system, isn't it? So we need to give points on the role of the lymphatic system. So we can say 1, it conducts lymphocytes to blood. It will also conduct cholesterol, glycerol, and fatty acids from the alimentary canal, and also maintains the fluid balance in the body. So that's why we find that the tissue fluid needs to find a way of it going back into the blood circulatory system. So since there's high pressure in the capillaries, the tissue fluid can't go back into base, so it has to go through the lymphatic system. Then it will rejoin back into the blood system when it joins the subclavian vein, which is found under the neck. So that is where lymph joins. So it is carried from all over our body, from our legs all the way up to our neck. That is where lymph again rejoins. So as it is passing through, the lymphatic system produces lymphocytes, which are produced in the lymph nodes, and these need to be present in blood so that they can fight infections around our body. So here, these were the solutions to question number 4. So how was this question as well? Was it fair or difficult? Let me know in the comment section. So if you are still enjoying the video, really appreciate your company, and let's stick around until the end. We are going to look at all the questions, and let's keep on participating. Otherwise, I really enjoy your company. All right, very good. We move on to the next question, which is question number 5. So question number 5 says, a hemophilic mother has 2 sons who were both hemophilia. The father was non-hemophilic. A, define the term hemophilia. So let's define the term hemophilia in the comment section. Let's chat. Let's define the term. What is hemophilia? Leave your answer in the comment section. Alright, well done chat. So hemophilia is a genetic disease in which blood clots slowly due to the absence of blood clotting proteins known as factor 8 and factor 9, leading to prolonged bleeding. So that is how we are able to define hemophilia. So you can still define it as a blood disorder. So it's a genetic blood disorder in which blood clots slowly due to the absence of blood clotting proteins known as factor 8 and factor 9. So, and this will lead to prolonged bleeding. Alright, well done chat. So next, we now go to part B. So using letters capital X with a small x and the X with a capital H, write down the genotypes of the father. Okay, so since when typing, just write the letters in the same line, since it will be difficult for you to put the H at the top there. Okay, so what will be the genotype for the father? So the father is non-hemophiliac, so the father's genotype is going to be X capital HY. Excellent work chat. So that is the genotype of the father. Order. How about the mother? Let's write the genotype for the mother as well in the comment section. Well done chat. So the mother will be X small h because the mother is hemophilic. So the father is non-hemophilic, the mother is hemophilic. So that's why they will have both genes for hemophilia. Okay, so she will have the hemophiliac genes. Okay, so next we go to part C. Says using a genetic diagram, explain why both the parents are hemophiliac. So we are going to write a genetic diagram here. So how many steps do we have for a genetic diagram? I hope you still remember. Very good chat. Yes, we have 5 steps of the genetic diagram. Right? So what will be the first step? Write it in the comment section. So very good. The first step is for us to write the parental phenotype. So we write the parental phenotype. So parental phenotype, we have hemophilic female crossed with the normal male. So here the father is normal or non-hemophiliac, so that is fine. Okay, so we are done with step number 1. What is step number 2? We can write it in the comment section. Very good. So next we are writing is the parental genotype. So we use the genotype which we wrote earlier. So we have parental genotype. So for the hemophilic female, X small h, X small h. Then normal male, X capital H, Y. Very good. Then we now move to step number 3. So what will be our third step? Very good, chat. Our third step is for us to write the gametes. Very good. So we separate the genotype as we write the gametes. Okay. So next we write gametes. We separate X capital small h, X small h, X capital H, and the Y. So after we've now written our gametes, we now start our crossing. So this one will cross with that one. This one will cross with the Y. This one crosses with that one. And this one crosses with the other one. So that leads us now to our fourth step. And our fourth step is which one? Very good, chat. So is to write the F1 offspring genotype. Okay, so we write the F1 offspring genotype. So that will now give us our X capital H, X small h, X small h, Y. X capital H, X small h, and the X small h, and the Y. So that now gives us our genotype for the offspring. Now once we've written our offspring, next we go to step number 5, which is our last step of the genetic diagram, and that is to write the offspring phenotype. Okay, so for the phenotype, we now write to say F1 offspring phenotype. We are going to have normal, then we'll have hemophiliac, then the normal and the hemophiliac. Then we write the sexes to say it should be normal female, hemophiliac male, normal female, hemophiliac male. So this now explains our answer to say both males were hemophiliac. So we've written our genetic diagram, but we're not done with the question because we still need to get the 6th mark. Otherwise, so we now explain to say here both the sons inherited the hemophilic gene from their mother and the Y from their father. This made them hemophilic. So that will enable us to now score all the 6 marks. So the 5 for the diagram and 5 to explain down, and that will give us our 6 marks. Okay. So I hope we wrote in that manner, and we hope we are crossing at home. So let me know, how was question number 5? Was it very difficult? So if you're enjoying the video, please don't forget to make sure you like the video, and if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any new videos I post. Alright, very good. So we now are done with section A. We now go to section B, which says answer any 3 questions from this section. All answers must be in complete sentences and the paragraphs. So we have A1, which says state 3 substances which a mammal can excrete out of its body. So what 3 substances can a mammal excrete? Let me know in the comment section below. Very good. So the number of things a mammal can excrete, we have carbon dioxide, we also have excess water, excess salts, we also have urea and bile pigments. So when you're writing on the salts, if you just said salts, that won't score. It has to be excess salts. So if you said water, it won't score. It has to be excess water. Okay, then 2, explain how each of these substances mentioned in A1 are excreted. So how is carbon dioxide excreted? And how is the urea excreted? And how do we excrete excess water? How do we excrete excess salts? Okay, let me know in the comment section. Okay. Then the other question is to compare and contrast excretion and the osmoregulation. So compare and contrast, we want to look at the similarities and the differences. Let me know in the comment section. All right, very good, chat. So now once you have those points, we now have to present them in the complete sentences and the paragraph. So now when you come to answering your question, you first make sure you write your question number. So answering question number 1, then you number the part of the question to say part A, and part A had 2 parts. So we had part 1, which says the substances that are excreted by a mammal are 1, we have carbon dioxide. What else? We have urea, we have biopigments, then we also have excess salts and the excess water. So these are the substances which are excreted. Okay, so once you're done with your part now, you go to your second part of the question and make sure you also leave a space so that you have differentiation. So now your answer, you present it to say carbon dioxide diffuses from blood into the alveoli in the lungs and removed from the body by expiration. So as we are breathing out, we're able to remove the carbon dioxide. Then urea will be removed by ultrafiltration, where that will take place in the glomerulus due to the pressure which will build up. So the glomerulus is a part of the nephron, and this will basically occur in the kidneys. And we also find that the urea, once it has been formed and you have urine, it will then be removed from the body in the urine. Then excess water will be removed when ADH is not excreted by the pituitary gland. So that will then prevent the nephrons from reabsorbing the water in the neurotubules, so which was actually produced after ultrafiltration had taken place. So the excess water will also be removed in the urine as well. So that is how we're able to now remove these substances. So we mentioned how we are removing our carbon dioxide, we explained how we are removing urea, how we are removing excess water. So that answers the first part of the question. Then we now go to the next part, which is part B. So part B, we number it, then we now organize our points in a complete sentence and the paragraph. So we first start with the comparison, which is to compare. So we are saying in both, excess water and excess salts are removed from the body. Then in addition, both processes will keep the body healthy. Then when we come now to the differences, we will say osmoregulation maintains the amount of water in the body, while excretion, what does it maintain? It will basically remove harmful metabolic wastes, which will basically be removed from the body. Then we are saying the other difference will be that in excretion, all harmful metabolic substances are removed. So talking about carbon dioxide, water, urea, excess salts, all of them be removed. But while in osmoregulation, only water is removed from the body when in excess. So that is the differences which we have in the processes. So we have compared and contrasted. All right. So how did you find this question? Was it very difficult? Let me know in the comment section. All right. Very good. So we move on to question number 2. So question number 2 says, describe the process of fertilization in flowers. Okay, so how does fertilization take place in flowers? All right, let me know your points in the comment section. Okay, then part B says, explain the process of implantation in human beings. So how does implantation in human beings take place? Or where does it take place in human beings? Okay, then C, it says, describe the health risks associated with fetal development. Okay, all right, so let me know in the comment section, chat, where is fertilization taking place in the flowers, and where does implantation take place in human beings, and they also state some of the health risks associated in fetal development in the comment section. All right, well done, chat. Very good. So now that we've come up with the points, we now have to put our points in the complete sentences and the paragraph sign. So now, after we've discussed our points, then now we can write our essay, because first you have to take down your points, then you write your essay. All right, so we now, as we write our essay, like we did in first, we say first we write the question, say we are answering question number what? Number 2. The question number 2 had 3 parts. So the first part we have is part A. So indicate to say we are answering part A. Then now for the points which were discussed in part A, we now group them nicely together and write our essay. So we start our essay and we say, after pollination, which is the transfer of pollen from the stamen to the stigma, the pollen grains will then absorb water from the stigma and becomes swollen. Then the pollen tube nucleus germinates to form a pollen tube. So the pollen tube, which will then grows through the stigma and the style and then into the ovary. So it will have to grow through these 3 parts until it will reach the embryonic sac, which is found inside the ovule. So this pollen tube, the growth of the pollen tube basically will be the growth of the pollen tube nucleus towards the ovule is actually guided by chemicals which are secreted by the synergid cells, and these synergid cells are found in the ovule. Now, once the pollen tube reaches the micropyle, the pollen tube nucleus will actually disintegrate. Then the generative nucleus, which was following behind, will then basically divide into 2 male nuclei. So the 2 male nuclei are going to then fertilize 2 parts of the embryo. So the first male nucleus will fuse with the egg cell to form a diploid zygote. Then the second male nucleus will then fuse with the polar nuclei at the center, which will then form a triploid zygote. So the diploid zygote will later develop into the embryo, while the triploid zygote or triploid cell will then develop into the endosperm. So the function of the endosperm is to act as a food storage. So this will actually be storing the food for the seed for germination to take place. Now, this type of fertilization where we had the 2 types taking place is what we refer to as double fertilization. Now, once the double fertilization is done, the ovule will then develop into the seed, while the ovary develops into which part? Into the fruit. Excellent. So that is how the process of fertilization takes place in plants. All right. So that is how we present our answer. Okay, you can see in a nice complete paragraph, complete sentences and the paragraph. So we are done with part A. So next, we now move on to part B. So we indicate to say we're now answering part B, and make sure you leave a space between part A and part B before you start writing part B. Now, part B, we are saying after fertilization in the zygote, after fertilization in the oviduct, the zygote is moved by cilia in the oviduct to the uterus. So this is the part, the question which we had talked about earlier again, the time we're looking at the function of the ciliated cell line. So we are saying once the cilia is moving the zygote to the uterus, it will actually be dividing by mitosis to form a ball of 6 cells, which is called the morula. So the morula will then develop into a blastocyst, which will contain a layer of inner cells and outer cells. So the inner layer of cells will actually develop into the embryo, and while the outer layer of cells will actually develop into embryonic membranes. So these are the ones which will now form the amniotic sac, which will then be producing amniotic fluid. So when the blastocyst basically enters the uterus, it will hatch from its zona pellucida, and then it will embed itself into the walls of the uterus. So once it's inside the walls of the uterus, the outer layer of the blastocyst will then develop into a chorionic villi, which will then later develop into the placenta. So the chorionic villi will actually increase the surface area so that the embryo can take up much nutrient from the mother. So this will now complete the process of implantation. So that is how implantation takes place. So just to remember the process, there's a very nice song, so don't forget where we'll go like here. We start from the oviduct, that is where fertilization takes place. Then we form the zygote. So we say zygote yangena mu morula, morula yangena mu blastocyst, then blastocyst yangena mu uterus. So zygote yangena mu morula, morula yangena mu blastocyst, then blastocyst yangena mu uterus, so that you don't forget the stages. All right, excellent work. So at least they try to give me a luck for that. I'm not have a very smooth voice like your maps, but at least you can try to remember that tone so that you don't forget the process of fertilization. All right, guys, we go to the last part, which is part C. And again, as you write your part C, don't forget to leave a space so that your essays are nice and neat. So now we're talking about the health risks associated with the fetal development. So these health risks normally will include: one, we have poor nutrition, we also have smoking, we can have alcohol, drugs, herbal medicines, we also have sexually transmitted infections, stress, and as well as vigorous exercises. So when you have poor nutrition, this will actually, so poor nutrition will not provide sufficient nutrients to ensure that you have proper development of the fetus. So you're going to have poor birth weight. Then smoking will reduce the amount of oxygen to the developing fetus, because cigarette smoke, we have carbon monoxide. So this will actually result in a premature birth and low birth weight as well. Then we have alcohol consumption can also cause what is known as fetal alcohol syndrome, which is abbreviated as FAS. So this will normally result in mental and physical defects. Then STI, sexually transmitted infections such as gonorrhea and syphilis can actually cause miscarriage. Then pharmaceutical drugs, like for example, we have thalidomide, can actually cause limb deformities. Then herbal medicines, such as sedatives, which are normally given to help in reducing pain, and other painkillers during pregnancies, can also cause birth defects. And usually this occurs if the effects are not known. So that's why when it comes to herbal medicines, we need to actually carry out more research on that. All right, so these are the health risks which are associated with fetal development. All right, guys, so let me know, how was this question? Was it a very difficult question? Let me know in the comment section. All right, we're almost done there, and thank you for sticking around. We have just 2 more questions to go. So the next part is part question 3. We have A, which says explain the meaning of the term growth. So let's define the term growth in the comment section. Okay. Then the next question says explain the differentiation of primary and secondary tissues in plants. Okay. So let's organize our points so that we know what we are going to be talking about in the essay. So we need to know what growth is. So be brief. And then we talk about the differentiated or primary and secondary tissues. All right, well done, chat. Very good. So now that we have our points, we need to now write our essay. Okay, well done. So remember again, when we start our essay, what we write? Question number. We are writing question what? So we write to say this is question number 3. Okay, so we start with the first part, which is part A. and we are defining growth. So we write our definition which we have given. So we are saying growth is the permanent increase in size, dry mass, number of cells, and complexity of a living organism. So that is how we define growth. Very good. So once we are done with our part A, we leave a space and then start writing B. So B, we're talking about the differentiation of primary and the secondary tissue. So I hope we have identified which one are primary tissue and which one are secondary tissue. So that is how we are able to now answer. So we are saying that after specialization, the plant cells may develop into any of the following cell types. So we have parenchyma, we also have chorenchyma, we have sclerenchyma, we have cambium, we have xylem, and the phloem. So these are the tissue types. So then we mention to say parenchyma and the chorenchyma cells are referred to as the primary tissue. Then next we talk about the parenchyma cells normally will have thin walls and large vacuoles for storage of sugars. Then they also store water and starch. Then for some cells, they will actually become more specialized and will contain chloroplasts, like the parasite cells, for absorption of light for photosynthesis. So this is the first part. So this is just to talk about the primary tissues. So next, we are still continuing with our essay due to space. We'll now talk about the secondary tissue now. So secondary tissue will have chorenchyma cells which have uneven thickened cell walls with the cellulose. The cells are tightly packed to provide the strength as well as the flexibility. So that is why we find that the chorenchyma and parenchyma, these are still our primary tissues. Then now we talk about the secondary tissues, which will now consist of 3 tissue types. In fact, there are 4, sorry. We have cambium, we have sclerenchyma, we have phloem, and the xylem. So then we explain to say vascular cambium is located between the phloem and xylem, and this one is responsible for what is called the secondary growth, where the stem of the plant will now increase in girth or width. Then sclerenchyma consists of dead cells with the evenly thickened walls. But for chorenchyma, if you remember, we said the cells are unevenly thickened. So sclerenchyma will consist of dead cells with uneven thickened walls with the lignin. So lignin makes the cells impermeable, that's why the cells are dead. So the cells will provide strength and support the stem. Then we also have xylem, which contains the hollow tubes, dead cells with no nucleus and cytoplasm. So cell walls are thickened with lignin to transport water. Then the phloem has long columns of sieve tubes, and these sieve tubes have sieve plates. So they also have no nucleus, but they have a companion cell which will have a nucleus. And the function of the phloem, they will simply transport what? Sugars, sugars and amino acids. So this is how we present our essay for question number 3. Okay, so how was your general view of this question? Was it easier to understand? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, we move on to the next part, which is now part 4. So question 4 says, part A says, explain the effects of light energy and gravity on the directional growth of plants. Okay, so let me know in the comment section which hormone will be able to help plants in terms of their response to light energy and gravity. Okay, then B says, using 2 named examples, describe your Tuskegee response. So let me know in the comment section which animals are able to respond and show Tuskegee responses. All right, very good chat. Let's now present our answers in an essay form for these questions. We have question 4, part A and part B. Okay, so we start with writing our question number, which is question number 4. Okay, so next we write to say we have A. Okay, so we are now talking about the directional response of plants when they're exposed to light and gravity. So in this essay we are saying plant shoots exposed to light from one direction causes oxygen to migrate to the darker side of the shoot. So the area where we are going to have a higher concentration of oxygen, so there will be a higher concentration of oxygen, will be on the darker side, will actually lead to high growth than the illuminated side, the one which has got light in. So the differentiated growth rate on the root will basically cause now the shoot to actually bend towards the what? The light. So where you have it's darker, growth will occur faster than where you have light. So the shoot will then bend towards the light. So then when you have a horizontally oriented plant root, you're going to find that the oxygen will actually move to the lower side of the root due to gravity. So that will now cause also a difference in concentrations. So you are going to find that here you are going to have a higher concentration of oxygen in the root, and this will actually inhibit cell division and cell elongation, while the upper root will have a higher growth than the lower side because that one will have less oxygen, so it will have more growth taking place. So again, the differentiated growth rate on the root will actually cause the root to actually grow towards gravity, to actually grow downwards. So that is how we're able to explain how the plant is able to respond to light, energy, as well as gravity. All right, we go to the next part of the question, which is part B. So before you start, make sure you've left a space so that your essays are separate. So we are now talking about taxism. So taxism is the movement of an entire organism towards or away from a stimulus. So examples of taxic responses include, normally we involve vertebrates. So for example, we have wood lice, which will actually move towards water. So meaning that these are actually positively hydrotaxic. And they'll also move away from light. So once you expose them to light, they will actually run better into the shade. So these meaning that they are negative phototaxic. Then we also have cockroaches, which also behave in the same way. So once the cockroaches in the house, you turn on the lights, they will actually move away from light. So meaning that these are negative phototaxic. So that is how we write our essay for part 4. All right, chat. So how did you find this question? Was it also very difficult? Okay. All right, excellent. All right, we go to our last question now. I know it's been a long time and I really appreciate you guys being here. And we're almost done. So we are on question number 5. So we are saying 5A says explain the term population. So what is population? You can leave that in the comment section. Then B says discuss the factors that cause change in population. So what factors cause population change? All right, guys. So just type the factors, don't explain, just write your factors in the comment section so that we have our points ready, so that we know what we're going to write in our essay. So we're defining population and also mentioning factors that affect changes in population. All right, nice work, child. Very good. All right, excellent. All right, so let's now present our points in essay form so that we write our essay for question number 5. So again, we start by writing our question number to answer the question number 5. So part A, then we define what population is. So we can simply define population as the total number of organisms of the same species living in a specific area at a specific time. So that is how we define our population, simply as the total number of organisms of the same species living in a specific area at a specific time. So next we go to part B. So make sure you leave a space before you start part B, and now we talk about the factors that will affect the population size. Okay, so here we are simply saying the factors that will cause changes in the population size will include: one, we have availability of food. We also have diseases. There's deforestation. We are also going to have natural disasters. There's also climate change. We also have wars. We also have famine. Also urbanization. We can also have overhunting, immigration, emigration. Then we are saying availability of food will actually cause an increase in population size, because if food is more available, more organisms are actually going to be born, and they will survive and be able to reach reproductive stage. Then when you have diseases will actually cause death, so this will actually reduce the population size. Then for deforestation will actually cause a reduction in population size. That is due to basically loss of habitat. So when we cut the trees, normally the habitat will be lost for organisms. So we continue our essay. We are at the number of points. So we've talked about some. So now we continue to say, we had also mentioned that we have natural disasters. So natural disasters will actually cause death, leading to reduction in population size. Then immigration will actually cause an increase in population size, because new organisms will actually move into the habitat. So but emigration will actually reduce the population size, as the organisms are basically going to move out of the habitat. So more organisms will basically leave the habitat. Then the other point we have is wars. So we are saying wars will normally cause death, leading to reduction of population size. Then we also have, for example, climate change. So climate change will also cause death, leading to a reduction in population size. Okay. Then the other point we had was famine. So famine will actually cause death. So this will actually, so death will occur due to the unavailability of food. So this will then reduce the population size. Then the other point we have is urbanization. So urbanization will basically reduce the population size, because humans will actually be carrying out deforestation for them to create human settlements. So when they cut down trees, for example, deforestation takes place, that actually leads to loss of habitat. Then we're also saying overfishing or overhunting will also reduce the population size, as more organisms are killed for food. For example, they might also be killed for their horns or for their tusks, like for example elephants and rhinos. So that leads to a reduction in their population. So this brings us to the end of our essay. So how was this question as well? Was it very difficult? So don't forget, always when we're preparing for biology paper 2, question number 5, you have genetics coming, and question number 10 is normally ecology. Okay, so once we are done writing our essays, we are only supposed to write 3. So make sure you have a job to do before you hand in your question paper. So make sure you follow point number 3, which says at the end of the examination, 1, fasten the answer booklet securely to the question paper. Then number 2, enter the numbers of section B questions you've answered in the grid provided. So you have to include the answer you've answered. So for example, if the question answered in your essay was question number 10, you write 10 in the space here. Okay, so the way you're going to write these questions is according to how you answered. So don't answer them in order to say you have to answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you can start with any question depending on which question is more familiar to you. Then the next question you've answered, your third one, you write it to say 6. Then if the last question you answered was question number 1, you indicate that you wrote 1. So that is the job you need to do before you fasten in your question paper. All right, so this is what I had for us in today's video. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate that you've watched all the way up to the end. It really helps me a lot. Don't forget to make sure you like the video before you leave, and let me know how you enjoyed the video. In case there's anything you want to see different, let me know. Really appreciate that. Will make the channel actually grow better. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.